Hey guys, Reza here. Welcome to Budget Audio Chrono. Today I'll be bringing you the Addiesdive MY-H5, right guys? Okay, so I was really excited to receive this Addiesdive MY-H5. It's also known with the other sister or brother company, the Steeldive SD1975. Before we begin in terms of the specifications and how it fits on my wrist and all that stuff, let's just take a look what's inside the box. Now, the box is a simple Pelican style carry case. Alright, I was really happy that it came in such a solid packaging. These straps were something that I bought aftermarket, but you do get some basic stuff, which is the cool looking instruction manual and the Addiesdive card here, which I'm not sure whether you can actually submit any kind of warranty, because I bought this from AliExpress and I have no idea whether they'll honor that. Doesn't matter. I could always contact the seller on AliExpress, but this box here, I think it's pretty good for you to use it for keeping the watch safe or any other kind of stuff. Like for me, I could actually put my earphones inside. So, you know, pretty thoughtful of the company to provide such a nice box like this. I think in terms of the specifications, if you guys have been doing your research on AliExpress and all that stuff, the Addiesdive and Steeldive, they are actually the same in terms of the case, everything, the movement, everything is the same in terms of this watch. The reason I bought the Addiesdive is because I do like the words here called Deep Sea Hunter Automatic 300 meters. I don't dive, neither do I swim. I just like the looks of dive watch. Yeah, so I'm a desk diver. Yep. And also I'm quite particular about straps, and I thought that the Addiesdive had this nice 22mm dive strap option, which I thought would look much better than the one that came from Steeldive with the weird circles on the straps. And I just didn't want to buy additional straps just to have this look on my wrist. Okay, so just a quick wrist check. This is what I've been using for years, for the past couple of years, 3-4 years since it came out, this G-Shock Mud Master GWG something. All right, and I'm used to wearing big and large watches, so if you can see that this guy pops up on my wrist seriously a lot. When compared to the Addiesdive, this guy is really small. I'll do the comparison a bit later on. I shot some videos of it and I'll just put it up on screen. Okay, cool. Now quickly with the dimensions. All right, so the dimensions, I'm just picking it up straight from the Addiesdive website here. All right, it is 47.5 mm in terms of the case diameter. All right, so it is still smaller than the G-Shock, all right, Mud Master. All right, and then it's a lug width here, it's 22 millimeters. So you could just buy straps, then you can pop in the quick release straps, which is fantastic on this 22 mm strap lug width here. Next, we talk about the thickness, which is here, case thickness is 15 mm. Again, still shorter than the Mud Master. And the lug to lug, it's not on the website. Lug to lug, I had to look it up from other reviewers. Lug to lug, it's a fairly short watch here. It's about 44.5 mm, so it would sit on your wrist pretty well, actually. All right, so it doesn't extend too much beyond the wrist. My wrist is about 6.5 inches. Depends on whether I'm put on weight or not. Can be as little as 6.25, but if I'm put on a bit more weight, it's at 6.5 inches. Now, a few pros that I really enjoyed from this watch. The number one thing that you get from buying the Addiesdive MY-H5 is the sense of a solid watch. The weight of the watch is substantial, that when you slap it on your wrist, you feel that weight. Now, if you do love watches with weight, this is one of them. The 316L stainless steel casing. All right, so you have this protective casing over the actual crown. It gives that really solid feeling. It is like wearing a G-Shock but steel, and I love what they have done here with this homage design of the Seiko Tuna. Alright, next we talk about, again, bezel function. Everybody's so big about bezel function, but in reality, how often do you spin this bezel? Probably when you buy the watch, once in a while when you're talking to your friends. But it is indeed nice when you start to move the bezel and you have that positive click as you move the bezel along. Alright, so that positive click, if you can hear it, I'm going to bring it to my chest. It does have a nice, solid, firm click. Check it out. Right, so you do have nice tactile feedback from the watch with regards to the bezel click. With regards to alignment, some folks are super particular about alignment. This guy aligns pretty well. Alright, I'm right on top of that 12 o'clock right here. There is no lume pip, but you will not miss the lume pip. I guess you could mod it on your own and put up a lume pip there. Now let's take a look at the AR coating, anti-reflective coating. Everybody mentions the bluish tint. Yes, I do agree that there's a bluish tint, alright, bluish sheen to it. Now if you're taking photographs outside, you might be a little bit irritated because of the blue color, but I do enjoy how clear, alright, the glass is. So at almost all angles, you're able to see the dial of the watch, okay? Now, I enjoy how good the dial looks with this yellowish, greenish kind of looms here. It has that vintage look, so it goes really well with a green canvas strap like this. Okay, so with the green canvas strap, it matches the look of it in terms of the utilitarian military type look, and it works real well. Alright, next thing in terms of the NH35 movement, don't forget that the NH35 movement, you can self-wind it. It's got a nice smooth rotation. I'll put it to the microphone so you can hear that nice smooth winding sound. And that's what I like about the NH35 movement. I just bought a Vostok, and of course the Vostok movement is just much more antiquated and a little bit old and kind of rough. So the NH35 Seiko movement is far more sophisticated than the Vostok. In terms of time adjustments, it's easy. Pull it out, as you know, and you can just move the hands over like that. In terms of date adjustments, it's also fairly easy with a half click. Okay, now the hacking movement means when you pull out, the second hand stops, and that's how you can, you know, kind of match this watch with all other watches that you have. To me, it doesn't matter. To me, it's not a big deal. Okay, so and then the crown pops out positively, and when you screw back the crown, it goes in and it tightens up real well with a positive stop, and you don't feel like as if there's going to be any kind of overwinding. Positive stop, and that's it. Now what I do enjoy about the Addiesdive MY-H5, again, such details like, for example, the sign crown here. I'm just going to take that zoom in, and hopefully we can get the camera to fantastic. Right there, do you see the sign crown? I'm going to bring it in again. Sign crown on the Addiesdive. Well done, Addiesdive. That looks really good. Very professionally done, I think. Alright, they took the effort for such details. Now as we look at the Caseback. Alright, Caseback, yes, there are some complaints. Very similar to the Steeldive. This engraving here, they do feel rough to the touch, and they do feel rough to your wrist. Okay, so if you're using NATO straps, might be the NATO straps will work better for you. Alright, the NATO straps will cover this area. You might want to use a very fine grit sandpaper and just rub this guy off. It does have, you can see this, my hands does get stuck and caught on it, my thumb. So there is some hard texture here. But overall, I enjoy the Addiesdive MY-H5, and some wrist comparison shots. I'll just put it up on screen, what I've shot a few days ago, and you can see that the Mud Master does stick up a lot more, taller, wider, longer as well. And I do think that the MY-H5 can be suited for someone with small wrists like mine, about 6.5 inches diameter going around, circumference I mean, so it works really super well. I'm just gonna pop this guy out, switch it over. Alright, put it on. Okay, so that is on my 6.5 inch wrist. It looks really good, and it doesn't pop out too much. I'm gonna bring it to the side there. Yep, and you can see that it doesn't stick up too much, and it does have some kind of wrist presence. It feels really good. The weight is fantastic. Very, very solid looking watch. Again, way beyond the value in terms of its price point. In terms of lume, it's got that fantastic Steeldive type lume, which is very, very similar. Let's pop it out and let's take a look how it might look in this lit room. I'm going to turn off the lights. So I have my Nightcore P20 here. Take it off screen. Gonna blast it a little bit. Alright, if not, it's gonna blind you. Alright. There we go. Without any covering of my hands, you could see how bright these things are. So again, in terms of the lume game, Steeldive, Addiesdive, they are top notch. If you want to compare the San Martin, Proxima and all that, yeah, you're paying a higher amount of money for the finishing of the watch. But lume game, I think these guys are a hit. So even at just about US $100 plus, you are getting fantastic looms. You will enjoy this watch in, you know, low light scenarios, taking low light photos and all that. You will super love what these guys have done. So again, let me just turn on all the lights again. We go 1, 2, and 3. And yep, lights are on again. Alright guys, so the Addiesdive MY-H5, I only have one tiny complaint of the H5. The H5 has a little bit of this, you know, on the case. This edges can be fairly sharp, I think, right about here, right here. This particular one. So let's zoom in. There, just this edge here. Just a little bit, so it catches you a little bit, you know, some of these corners here, it does catch you. In terms of finishing, you can see crown finishing, the bezel finishing is fantastic. All right, it's got that dome sapphire glass, looks fantastic. All right, a bit more old school ceramic bezel, high quality finish. And if you could take it right down on the dial itself, look at the quality of the looms. They're very even from dot to dot, from point to point. So I am not super particular because this is indeed a hyper budget watch, which you know, there is really no complaints at this price point. Just pay attention to these rough edges here that could possibly, you know, snag you, or like if you're carrying baby and children and kids like that, so you have to be very mindful about watches like this, because this can cause some serious injury if it scratches on your child's face or body. Okay, the rest of it, if you can take a close-up look, all that case is fantastically brushed and finished. And I do love the easy access here, the drilled lugs here. It's easy to remove straps. You just poke it with, you know, the tool or even a pen or something. This thing will come out fairly easily. Alright guys, so MY-H5 Addiesdive. Alright, these guys are a boon to have if you love large watches. Okay, and they are fairly medium, small to medium watches for me. For you, it could be considered an extra large watch. Alright guys, so thanks for watching Budget Audio Chrono. So I've just done a previous review of the Steeldive 1970. Do check out that video as well. It's just before this one. Alright, and the next one I'll probably be bringing up the Vostok Komandysky K65. That's another awesome budget watch with a awesome heritage since the early 60s. Alright guys, thanks so much. Stay safe. We'll see you real soon.